In a new trailer shown in the recent Nintendo Direct, we got to see more cutscenes and gameplay for the upcoming Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment. We now know that the Ancient Sages, along with Queen Sonia, are confirmed to be playable characters added to the roster. And we even got to see the Sage of Lightning's face revealed, which really threw me off guard. But today, I don't want to analyze the entire trailer. Instead, I want to take a deep look at the new construct teased at the end of the trailer, and see if I can figure out who it is supposed to be. At the start of the teaser footage, we get to see an ancient room filled with several tree roots, 2 Zonai pillars on each side of the room, as well as a large door similar to the one at the ancient temple time, as well as the door on Dragonhead Island. As far as I'm aware though, this location doesn't exist within Tears of the Kingdom. So where is this room located? Well, there's a couple details that we can use to answer that, with the first being the tree roots. If you look closely at the pattern of these tree roots, you will notice that these only exist within the depths. Now, yes, there are also tons of large roots on the Sky Islands as well, but those have patches of yellow grass on them, which I don't see any on the roots within this trailer. If you compare the roots in the trailer to this photo I captured of a depths root, you can definitely tell that these are the same type. But what makes it more obvious that this new construct is located in the depths is in the next shot. On the bottom left corner, you will spot these mushroom and finger-like plants, which are scattered all throughout the depths in Tears of the Kingdom, the only area where these plants are actually located. This tunnel even gives off the same dark, grayish vibes that the tunnels in the Forgotten Foundation do. So now that we can confidently say that this construct is located in the depths, let's figure out who this construct actually is. In the trailer, while the construct is being assembled, I noticed a few striking details regarding its design. First, let's look at the feet. Unlike how Mineru's construct has basic circular feet, this construct has 4 appendages sticking out to represent toes. What I find interesting is that these feet, along with the rest of its legs, look insanely similar to the legs and feet of the Ancient Hero's aspect. The Ancient Hero has 4 toes sticking straight out, and if you compare the knee pad on both the Ancient Hero and the construct, they are identical to one another. Heck, even the structure of the construct's legs are very similar to that of the Ancient Hero's legs. If we take a look at the only other shot of this new construct, we get to see the torso, chest area, arms, hands, and the bottom of its face. For the construct's torso, I don't think it matches as well with the Ancient Hero, but these 2 patterns here look a bit similar to the owl and dragon symbols that are found on the Ancient Hero's torso. Next, if we look at the chest plate of the construct, you'll see that it matches more with Mineru's construct than it does with the Ancient Hero itself. The only difference is that the new construct's chest plate isn't covered in several green Zonai plates, or whatever you want to call them. But Mineru's construct looks very bulky because of these green plating that surrounds the chest plate, where the chest plate for this new construct is most likely left bare to resemble a more humanoid figure, much like the Ancient Hero. Next, let's take a look at the arms and hands. Rather than being bulky and extremely long, these arms are actually much shorter and look very similar to the Ancient Hero's arms. The hands look very humanoid, with 5 fingers protruding from the palm, much like a human's hand, except the fingertips of the construct's hands are more pointy, where human fingers are more rounded at the tip. But if we take another look at the Ancient Hero, we can see that his fingertips are pointy, just like the construct. Lastly, we need to look at the construct's head. We don't see the full head, likely to avoid spoiling who the construct is, but if we look at the only part shown to us, you'll notice that its head is very narrow, unlike Mineru's construct. But again, if we compare its head to the chin area of the Ancient Hero, they look pretty similar, and even the golden socket on the construct sort of represents the golden neck brace on the Ancient Hero here. After all of those comparisons, you most likely get the point. This construct is almost identical to the Ancient Hero who fought Calamity Ganon 10,000 years ago. But here's the issue. The imprisoning war, in which Age of Imprisonment will take place, is way before the time of the Great Calamity 10,000 years ago. So how can the construct's design be based on someone that doesn't exist for another several years? Well, before figuring that out, I began to look at other humanoid figures to see if the construct can actually be compared to someone else. For this next comparison, I went to the depths and looked at the mysterious statues which seemed to depict a separate race of Zonai from the ones that look like Ramu and Minru. But here's the problem. While the feet, legs, and torso and chest match pretty well with the construct, the arms depicted by the statue are way too long, and the face seems too long also to match the construct, so I don't think this comparison matches the construct as well as the ancient hero. I looked around for a little longer to find more humanoid figures that could potentially match the new construct, but no one seems to be a good match except for the ancient hero. So then that leaves us with the question, how can the construct be based on this hero then? While I was theorizing a bit on my own, I came across a theory that Zelda lore had on this topic, which would actually make a ton of sense if true. And what I'm about to go over is all of Zelda lore's thoughts, not my own. First, he goes to point out that the statues in the depths suggest that a race separate from the Zonai existed during the Zonai's early period. Tears of the Kingdom Masterworks also suggests that the statues represent a more primitive race separate from the Zonai. It's been pointed out in the past that the ancient hero's aspect looks very similar to these mysterious statues, which could indicate that the ancient hero is perhaps a part of this separate race. Zelda lore theorizes that the ancient hero could have actually existed during the Zonai origin period, and perhaps fell in battle during this time. Monsters did exist, so it's very possible that at some point the monsters bested the ancient hero. Like how when Link was defeated and placed in the Shrine of Resurrection to heal for 100 years, the ancient hero could have also been put into a similar state. Then, like how Link woke up to defeat Calamity Ganon in Breath of the Wild, the ancient hero could have woken up at the time of the Great Calamity 10,000 years ago. Zelda lore goes on to suggest that the ancient hero could have been found during the founding of Hyrule Kingdom, and that Minru and Zelda created this construct to temporarily contain this soul. This would then allow his spirit to aid in the imprisoning war for Age of Imprisonment in the form of this construct, while his body is still at rest. The room that this construct is in is extremely reminiscent of the Shrine of Resurrection, but instead of on the surface, it's located in the depths, as I pointed out earlier in the video. To wrap up the theory, Zelda lore asks if the hidden place is located in the Pool of Revival, which is located right beneath the Shrine of Resurrection. Perhaps the ancient Sheikah found this location and built the Shrine of Resurrection as a more accessible revival chamber. After struggling to come up with my own theory, I am in full agreement with what Zelda lore has stated. I was trying to figure out on my own how the ancient hero's style could have been inspired by this construct, much like how the divine beasts seem to be inspired by the masks of the ancient sages, but I don't think that theory would make too much sense in the end. One other theory I've heard about so much is that Fi's spirit could inhabit this construct, and the only evidence that supports this is the tune played during the trailer. It's a snippet of Fi's theme, which made tons of people wonder if the construct houses Fi's spirit. However, I personally have a few issues with that. Yes, Fi is in the Master Sword, which Zelda will have during Age of Imprisonment. But in Tears of the Kingdom, in most of the Master Sword cutscenes, Fi is still in the blade speaking to Zelda. So it doesn't seem like her spirit was extracted at any point and put inside the construct. To me, this theory just doesn't line up with how Tears of the Kingdom plays out, as far as I know at least. But the fact that the only evidence for this is the tune that plays just doesn't seem like a lot to go off of compared to the design similar to the ancient hero's aspect. So at the end of the day, I believe along with Zelda lore that this construct we see in the trailer houses the spirit of the ancient hero, who will fight in the imprisoning war until Ganondorf is sealed away at the end. His spirit will then leave the construct and return to his body, which will stay in rest until the calamity of 10,000 years ago. But I'm open to many more theories and discussions surrounding this mysterious construct, so be sure to let me know what you think in the comments below. Thank you for sticking around until the end. I just want to make a huge announcement real quick before we end the video. So here it is. As you may know, I'm slowly getting closer and closer to the big milestone of 1,000 subscribers, and I won't be able to get there without your help. If we are able to reach that goal, I have 2 rewards for you all. 1. I'm going to make a special video about how I became a Zelda fan and the backstory of how this channel even started in the first place. Along with that, I'll release a brand new Zelda game that I've been secretly working on behind the scenes. It will be in the style of the original NES Zelda title, and it will see the return of a race previously seen in a past game. I hope you are all excited, and along the way I will show teasers for the game so you all can see more of what it's like. Thank you for listening to my announcement, and let's continue the journey to reach 1,000 subscribers. Have an awesome rest of your day, and I'll see you on our next adventure.